And since starting weight loss jabs just 4 months ago, Vivienne Joy has lost 2 stone. But that's not the only dramatic change that she's experienced.
For the first time in years, she's been able to curb her shopping addiction, which previously saw her spiral into £250,000 in debt after splurging on gambling, takeaways and clothes.
Well, Vivienne is joining us now alongside Dr Zoe, who says this unexpected side effect might actually be more common than we think. Good to see you both this morning.
Hello.
Vivienne, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
So you've struggled with addiction, all sorts of addiction throughout your life. Tell us a little bit about the sort of things that you've had to deal with.
Well, the first addiction started with food. So, you know, I feel like it's finishing with food as well. I was bullied really badly through school when I was sort of 12, 13. And I thought it started with the fact it was safe in the canteen at school. So I would be in the canteen eating. And then, you know, it made me feel better as well. I put on a lot of weight and then started the dieting. And that's where that began. And I think the obsession to dieting has been an addiction as well. And then as I got older, my parents used to gamble quite a lot. So they liked bingo, which is, you know, a nice form of gambling. It wasn't like a horrible seedy. And so I then started to gamble with them when I hit my 18th birthday. So, but also when I look back, it's only reflecting now that I feel like I'm out of addiction completely, that I can see other things that are really, really clear, like catalogues. So when I was younger, you know, I'm a Gen X girl, Kay's catalogue, Grat and all those, I don't think they exist anymore. And I used to sit and write lists and lists of things I wanted. And then when I was 16, I managed to get an account and started to order those as well, obsessively, paying them off. And, you know, yeah, so I look back at that. That wasn't a normal behaviour for a girl of 16 either, realistically.
And then it kind of all escalated from there. It continued on, and then the pandemic happened, COVID hit, which almost seemed to send you into more of a spiral.
Yeah, because a lot of the things I was doing outside of the house, I then couldn't do either. So then shopping became the one. I was in a new relationship with my now wife, and so we moved in together. So it seemed innocent to start with. Lots of household things, you know, furniture. We moved into our dream home. We rented a house. So it was all really, you know, and I thought, God, you've spent a lot of money on household things, and none of them that were really that necessary. So again, it's all on reflection. I can look at that. But clothes, of course, because we weren't even going anywhere, were we, during lockdown? So I was like, why am I buying outfits? Yeah, lots and lots of clothes, lots of clothes. And I didn't even realise that. You see, sometimes when you're in addiction, you don't even realise you're there. It just feels like you're normal. And it wasn't until my wife said, we're having deliveries every day now. Like, is everything OK? And I was like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't realise.
So, Vivienne, how did you find yourself £250,000 in debt? Because that is a serious amount of debt. And how were you servicing that as well?
Well, this is a funny story, really, Ben, to be honest, because I decided to build a house. So that was part of the debt as well. And I decided to do that on credit card. So I'm really good at being able to find funds. I've always earned a lot of money because I've always spent a lot of money. So some of that was through the house being more expensive, because when you're in addiction phase, everything is very impulsive. There's no considered thoughts or feelings around it. It's just, oh, we'll do that. Or just, that seems like a good idea, I'll do that. So gambling, of course, and I always earn a lot of money. So although it was kind of, I did have that debt, but it never felt like I did. It wasn't until I lost my job. That was when things really got out of hand, because I was earning a lot of money and then I couldn't get another job for like 4 or 5 months. So then the debt just started to pile on, because not only was I servicing debt, I was also still spending. And of course, then I was miserable because I couldn't get a job. So all of the addictions went off the chart, basically. Yeah.
So then when did you decide to start taking the weight loss jab?
So that was February the 22nd this year.
And why? What made you do it?
Well, I was a big no to all this. This is a true story. I'm a mindset coach, so in my head, I understand a lot of our behaviours are from our beliefs and our identity and strategies we've created. And my friend, who I trust dearly, started taking the jabs. And I saw him on social media, sharing his journey and getting really slim and looking really happy. And then he posted to say he has ADHD and I have ADHD, that all of a sudden he has no ADHD. It's almost like someone switched everything off in his head. And I thought, oh, wow, that sounds amazing. And then he messaged me, so thank you. He messaged me and said, get yourself on these jabs. That was basically what he said. And I said, no, I want to do it naturally. I want to, you know, be healthy and lose weight and get fit. And, you know, he said, you can do all that after, babe. That's what he said. That was the exact phrase. I was like, you're absolutely right. He said, try it for a week. And if you don't like it, see what happens. So that's what I did.
How quickly did you notice, not only that obviously you've lost 2 stone, how quickly did you notice the noise stopped and you suddenly weren't spending all this money and you weren't shopping and...
So 9 o'clock on the Saturday night, the 22nd of February. It'll be in my brain forever. Took the jab. I woke up the next morning with no noise. It was over. Like somebody
almost
switched my...
instantaneously.
Well, I wonder if I'd have taken it in the day, if it would have been a moment where all of a sudden everything just shut down. But because I obviously slept through that, I don't know. But I woke up the next morning, like, there's no noise in my head. But now, like the silence in the studio right now, that's how my head felt for the first time in my life.
That's incredible, isn't it? So it's not the first time. We've had people come on who've talked about the fact that their previous alcoholism seems to have quietened down as well off the back of taking the jabs.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds quite out there, doesn't it? You take a weight loss jab and your shopping addiction gets better, but there is science that supports this and backs it up. I think first it's helpful to understand a little bit about a chemical called dopamine. So this is a chemical that's active in the brain and it's responsible for our reward system in the brain, but also for motivation and impulse. We know, actually, it's interesting, the ADHD, because we know people who have ADHD, that kind of gets dysregulated as well. So that's why often people with ADHD can be more impulsive and they are more likely to get addictions as well. So all addictions, whether they're substance addictions like alcohol, nicotine, drugs, or behaviours like shopping, gambling or sex, they all hijack this dopamine pathway. So that reward that you get is what makes you want to do it again and again and again. It can be quite compulsive, which you mentioned a few times. So people do report this. They take a weight loss jab and on day one, the noise goes away. And that's because it interferes with this dopamine pathway. So what it does, it reduces the pleasure that people get from the whatever it is they're addicted to. So it reduces their desire for it, which can be really positive, as it has been for Vivienne.
Absolutely.
For other people, they say they don't get joy out of spending time with their grandchildren anymore. You know, it can reduce their sexual desire. It can reduce their desire for life, generally, and make them feel like they've lost joy. So, you know, it's not a positive thing for everyone, but there is science, and therefore, maybe in the future, the studies aren't there yet, but maybe in the future, we will see this being prescribed to help people who have addictions, which is exciting.
We're out of time, unfortunately, Vivienne, but thank you for coming in and sharing your story. It's fascinating.
Zoe.
Continued good luck with the
Thank
weight
you very
loss as
much.
well.
It's a long journey, but I'm on the road.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.